This video is brought to you by Green Man Gaming. Click the link below if you want to see some amazing deals on some great games. Also, every purchase goes towards helping the channel. So this is a bit of a trigger warning right now, and the words work, job, and employed will all be uncensored after this point in the video. You know, if you're sensitive to that, now's your chance to leave. You know, scary words. So one of the worst things that can happen to you in life is being employed, working 9 to 5 at a job that you don't really enjoy, and basically spending more waking hours at that job than you do at home, because I'm not accounting for the time you're asleep. You are spending more time at a job than you are at home, at least consciously. And that means you don't have a lot of time to play games when you get home. And I wanted to make a video about this because I get a lot of comments questioning the fact as to how I managed to play so many games despite the fact I am actually employed. You know, I hate to say it, guys, you know, I know I can't be relatable to you all. I am employed, unfortunately, and it sucks. But the good thing about my employment is the fact that I work part-time. I'm only in 3 days a week, so I get that extra time to work on videos and play games. But even then, right, even though I'm only working 3 days a week, those 3 days wipe me out. It's tough, you know, going to work and coming home, you are exhausted. Even if you're just sat at an office all day, I know there's a lot of people who are like, well, I'm a fucking builder and you're sat in an air-conditioned office, so how are you tired all the time? It's tiring. No matter what job you're doing, it is exhausting. So when you get home after that 7 to 8 or even 9 hours at work, you know, you gotta commute home as well, sit in traffic or take public transport. You get home and you're like, I want to relax. But God, even just going on your computer or turning on a console feels like a chore. You feel like you don't have the energy to do anything at all, and you don't really have the time to do so either. But yeah, I'm basically just stating the obvious at this point as to why people struggle to play games while they're employed. You know, they're just far too tired and they don't get enough free time when they get home, because you need to spend that time making dinner, doing some chores, and getting ready for bed or preparing for the next day. It's shit. It's absolute shit. And then that extra like 1 or 2 hours before you go to bed, you're just too tired to do anything. Now, there was a period of time where I was working full-time temporarily, and that was to cover for someone who had left my workplace. They said it was for 3 months, but it was actually 5 months, because, you know, employers, they love wasting people's time. They don't actually hire anyone, they just fuck everyone about. I could rant about that. But during that time of full time, 3 games came out that I was super excited for: Metal Gear Solid Delta, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Chronos: The New Dawn. And somehow, I still managed to play these games and make videos on them whilst being in full-time employment. Now, the trick is, for me, is as soon as I would get home from work, I would kind of force myself to play the game. Like, I would sit down at my computer, and instead of like brain rotting, scrolling through Twitter, yearning for death like I did most days while I was working full-time, I would open up Steam, wouldn't open up Twitter, wouldn't open up YouTube or Netflix or anything like that. I would be like, I want to play this game. I'm gonna play this game, and I'd open up Steam and I would play the play button, and I would play until I felt tired, or until, you know, it got late enough to the point where I should probably sleep, because, you know, when you get older, if you go to sleep past a certain time, you feel like death when you wake up. And for me, that's midnight. So I would probably stop around 10:30 and be like, right, time to go to bed. And that's a good like 3 hours of playing a game. And I did manage to beat all 3 of these games, like I said, whilst employed, and that was because I kind of forced myself to do so. And I feel like once you boot up a game when you're back from home, you get kind of this second wind in a way, especially once you like get through the menu and you get going. Like after like 10 minutes of mowing down a bunch of people in Ninja Gaiden 4 or stealthing around in Metal Gear Solid 3, you get this like second wind where you don't actually remember the fact you've been at work, and you don't remember the fact that you were tired. You're just focused on the fact that you're having fun, if that makes sense. Now, I don't know if this is the case for everyone. That was the case for me, and I just want to be open about answering this question as to how I managed to play so many games while still being employed. I actually have a co-worker, a good friend from work. He knows who he is. He watches my videos. Thank you for the support, man. You're probably watching this during work hours, because I know I know what you do. As soon as he gets home, he doesn't even go to his computer. He sits down, he watches TV, he does whatever he needs to do. He doesn't play games at all during weekdays, and he only plays them during the weekends. I don't understand it personally. You know, he can do what he wants to do. I've never understood that. My go-to comfort is going on my PC, which is sad as fuck. I should probably get other hobbies. But that's just an example of someone who does work 9 to 5, you know. He sits down and he plays a game for hours on the weekend. Doesn't play anything during the weekdays, he only does it during the weekend. And I can imagine he does like what I do, where he just kind of forces himself to press play even if he feels tired, which is the best way to go around it when you get older, I think. Like, you need to force yourself to press play, especially if, like, subconsciously you're excited to play something, but, like, a part of your mind is like, oh, but you're too tired, you should focus on relaxing. Bro, playing the game is relaxing. You're enjoying your hobby, you know? You should ignore that little part of your brain that's, like, nagging at you going, you need to relax, you know, you need to mentally prepare yourself for Monday and the next work week, which is why I think 2 days, you know, Saturday, Sunday, it's just not enough time. It's not enough time to relax. Now, another example of a friend of mine when it comes to playing games while employed is my good friend Joe. JJ Tack, he's got his own little channel. He's doing very well. He's just hit over 1,000 subscribers, and he's recently uploaded a video on the fact he's excited for the new Fallout games. Go check him out when you get the time. But he used to have a work from home job, and I would always see him playing games. Like, I'm sorry to call you out here, Joe, but I would get so pissed off while I was sat at work, basically just like doing fuck all. I would look on my phone and see Steam, and he was playing like Dead by Daylight or some other fucking game during work hours. But the thing is though, he would get the work done, so he wasn't behind on anything. He would get the work done, and then he'd just be like, well, I've got this free time now, I'm just gonna enjoy my hobby, play games. And when you work from home, you can kind of get away with that, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people do, and I don't blame them for it. Like, when you get work done at an actual workplace, you spend more time pretending to work, because you get punished with more work if you get work done quickly. It's not a good system. It should be a system where you get fucking projects done, you can go home and enjoy your actual life. You know, the life that you're making money for, the life that you're building up money for. You can't even enjoy it half the time because you're spending most of your waking fucking hours in a dirty office full of people you're not really a big fan of. This isn't off my experience, by the way. I like the people I work with, but that's the case for a lot of people. And my good friend Joe, he got a better job, a higher paying job. I won't get into the details of that, but the catch was he had to work full time in an office. And as soon as he got that job, even on weekends, he wouldn't be playing anything. Because I think that whiplash of going from like, but yeah, he got this job, the pay was significantly better, and he was miserable. He fucking hated it. He just had no drive to play anything at all, because I think that whiplash of having a lot of freedom while working from home to do your job and also enjoy your life was just ripped away from him when he got to the office. You gotta do office culture. Yeah, you know how office culture is. And yeah, he didn't play anything. He was absolutely depressed, and he actually took a lower paying job that allowed him to work from home, because he would rather be earning less money and be able to enjoy playing games than have a job that pays incredibly well but be full-time working in an office. Now, I know this could be a whole like, oh, our generation is just so soft. Back in my day, I was working 100 hours a week, and like, yeah, to their own detriment. I think the problem is that our generation actually respect our fucking time, and it's giving all these employers complete whiplash. It's like, oh, young people don't want to work anymore. We do want to work. It's just we want to be able to enjoy our lives at a fucking and actually earn enough and be respected enough to be able to do that, but we can't. So yeah, sorry, this is a bit of a ramble, bit of a rant there, but yeah, basically the message is here. The way I play games while still being employed is I basically force myself to, especially if it's a game you really want to play. Like, I remember Ninja Gaiden 4, I was so excited for that. I was literally like, that was one of my most anticipated games, and when I started playing that, oh, I would come home and I'd be excited to play more of it. Because once you get going and you have to stop like 3 hours in, especially if it's like a good narrative game, you're like, oh shit, I want to see what happens next. I want to see what the next mission is. And you get to work the next day. And even if you do get tired, you're thinking about that game and you're like, oh fuck, I can't wait to see what happens next in the game I'm currently playing. You rush home, you start playing it, and you're like, damn, this is good. This is good stuff. I like this. And you're just having a good old time playing it. And even if you're working full-time, that's exactly what I did. And yeah, obviously, it can heavily depend on the job you're doing. You know, if you are working a very physically demanding job, like a builder, or a plumber, or an electrician, all that stuff, it's probably way harder and you probably would rather just sit down and watch TV, which is fair enough. But you know, I just wanted to answer the question as to how I play games while still being employed. Let me know in the comments if any of you are also unfortunately employed and still play games, and you know, let people know what you do to play games and still enjoy them whilst slaving away 9 to 5. I'd like to know as well, you know, this is just my personal way of doing it. There's probably many other different ways of how people do it, so yeah, let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and obviously a huge shout out to Green Man Gaming, who sponsor this channel, really. They sponsor this channel, they keep it afloat, they help me make this content, and I just want to give them a huge shout out as I do in every video. They are an incredible storefront. I use them all the time to buy games for myself and giveaways on my Discord channel. You know, if you're interested in winning a game in the future, probably the Evil Within, you know, I gotta shove the Evil Within here somehow. I'll probably be giving away about, what, 20 copies of that game in the future, so look out for that. And with that, I want to give a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who also keep this channel afloat. You guys are the absolute best. The same goes for the channel members. Thank you guys so much for just enjoying the content, really. That's all I can really say. Like, thank you for enjoying the content enough to give me some money and support me, and I hope you enjoy getting early access to the videos. And as I've been saying, I have plans for member exclusive videos, which will also be Patreon exclusive for you guys. More personal videos, maybe like going through my setup, how I edit stuff, just some, you know, day of the life stuff. I think it'd be very interesting to give you guys that, you know, especially for how much support you've been giving me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.